Sorry, I don't.
See the police, you can see that they were coming, just like a deluge.
You're there for the flame, were you? Fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Executive Planning Committee meeting of Monday, the 24th of June. To start off, we have public participation. I don't know if we're expecting anyone to moments of public to speak. We do have someone with us on Zoom, so very welcome to you. So I'll just
Did the gentleman in the Zoom room wish to speak?
Okay, moving on then. So next up is to receive the minutes of the meeting held on the 3rd of June.
No, apologies.
Apologies
Apologies from Councillor Pond.
Apologies for Councillor Pond. I don't think we have any other apologies. So can you approve those apologies? I propose we approve those. Have a second?
Definitely, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It looks like they're approved. Thank you very much. So now to receive the minutes of the meeting held on 3rd of June 2024.
Yes, please, yeah. That's it.
So yeah, those minutes have been circulated. Does anyone have any comments on those minutes? Can I propose we approve those minutes? Can I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Lockwood. Can we approve? Thank you very much. Oh, that's right. It's not okay.
It's initial.
So chairman's announcements. I don't believe we have any unless any else.
Nothing for you.
However long, so we can move on to agenda item 5, which is the TRO consultation.
Excuse me, Chair. We need to do declarations of interest.
We do.
Yes, we do. So thank you very much. Do we have any? Should we have a look at the agenda? Let's have declarations of interest. Oh, never mind. Well, do we have any declarations of interest from the committee? Councillor Pickett.
I'm a Mid-Sussex District Councillor and member of the District Planning Committee and reserve the right to change my opinion should new information, analyses, data and reports come to my attention at a later date.
Thank you. Any more? Councillor Whitaker.
Thank you, Chairman. The same as Councillor Peacock, please.
Thank you. Councillor Lockwood.
I'm a Mid-Sussex District Councillor and I sit on the licensing committee.
You did manage to get the
Right.
No. Thank you very much. And that's all by the looks of it. So we'll move on. I don't have any chairman's announcements in the last minute or so. So we will now move on to the TRO consultation for East Grinstead Turners Hill Road. West Sussex County Council proposes to make a permanent traffic regulation order that will introduce a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit on Turners Hill Road in East Grinstead from its junction with Hurst Farm Road southwestwards for 280 metres. There is a link on the West Sussex County Council website. So if anyone does want to make any comments on that, they should do so before the 27th of June.
If I could just remind you, Chair, that this did come to the committee a while ago when a resident was asking for the committee to support it, and committee did support this TRO go through. It's now the formal consultation.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a couple of licensing.
There we go. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So yes, we do have a couple of licensing applications on the agenda. I don't suppose anyone has any comments on those, or they do.
What we normally do, Chair, at this point is recommend them to the District Council without any further comment, unless anybody on the committee does indeed have any.
Thank you. So guess we can move on to the.
Are there no comments?
Oh, I did think there was. So, does anyone have any comments on those?
No.
That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic. So the tree applications, the committee is asked to make observations as may be considered necessary in respect of the application set out in front of you. We have 4. Would you like me to go through it? No. And there they are. If does anyone have any particular comments on these? Councillor, please.
I am somewhat concerned with the walnut tree. Concerned that by taking 2 meters off one side of it, it will make the tree lopsided. But I will bow down to the tree officer's report on that one.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else on that? In that case, we will refer to the tree officer for their judgment. Thank you. Right, on to the more substantive agenda. We have 2 rather major planning applications with us on the agenda for that. So the first is the land south and west Inverbourne Upper School, Inverbourne Lane. It's a hybrid planning application seeking planning permission for a mixed-use development comprising of up to 550 dwellings, a care village of up to 150 dwellings, and land for a 2-form entry primary school, including early years provision and special needs education provision, mixed-use neighbourhood centre, allotments, landscaping, and sustainable urban drainage, and full planning permission for playing fields, a new sports pavilion, and a running track associated with Inverbourne Secondary School, a suitable alternative natural green space at Sang, with associated car park access from Inverbourne Lane, an internal road to the Sang, and associated landscaping and infrastructure. Now we've had some more information come through from the 22nd of May, so I'll try to put together some images from what's come through then. So I believe these particular illustrations regard the Sang provision, and we also have an illustration of the sports pavilion, and some further images of the area itself. Now, this obviously, members of the committee will be quite familiar with this ongoing application of this land. I know Councillor Goodwin has only been with us a short time, but I'm sure we'll get to learn this about this application in the near future as we talk about it quite a lot. So generally speaking, with regards to things like the sports pavilion and the kind of investment Welbeck are looking to do, I think it's quite admirable in that respect. They've obviously got a lot of thought into it. It's come before us many times. They are trying to make a proper investment in the land. The key stumbling block we'll come up against most of the time with this is regarding the highways issues, the access, the AFILS, the Star Junction, and that sort of area. Before I hand over to Whitaker, who is a very learned councillor on this issue, certainly more than most, I imagine, because he's had to deal with it many times. I would like to stress that in 2022 we did stress that we have a Grampian precedent in place to try and mitigate the sorts of issues that we're having with that we would anticipate with that the 1864 that sort of area and highways issues surrounding it. So that's something to bear in mind, I think. But if Councillor Whitaker would like to give his thoughts on where we are.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to give an update, but with respect, the town mayor, as former chair of this committee, probably has more knowledge than myself. Town mayor has lives in Inverhorn as well, so he's not an Inverhorn ward councillor, but certainly lives right in the middle of Inverhorn, and together with Councillor Reeves, we are Inverhorn. And Councillor Gibson, of course. Just one point of correction for you, Chair. What you just said, we do not have in place a grampian condition. That is not factually correct. What we said we have a town policy position statement that was adopted in October 2022, which requests Mid Sussex District Council to follow the Sussex County Council advice of putting a grampian condition in place, which is a condition precedent, such that if any planning permission is granted for this site in the future, then some sort of guarantee that the junction, particularly of the Star A22264 upgrade, whatever that upgrade may be, is included within the legal documentation of the Section 106 and probably 278 agreements. But it is not currently in place. So I'll just need to put that on record.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. This last came before this Town Council Planning Committee on the 28th of November, and there are, we've done an extensive consultation with in Sussex. It certainly came before us 6 months prior to that, and probably 6 months prior to that as well. So, this committee have had a consistent record of very detailed comments through the town clerk, obviously on the portal. So all of that's on the portal. So this is a follow-up of that. It's not come to us for the first time, as you said. Currently, there are 66 pages on the portal. So, there's lots of information. This is a big piece of land, a big site. First thing to say, just to remind everybody, including members of the public, this is an allocated site by the District Council for mixed use, particularly for housing. It was adopted under the Site Allocation Development Plan document, which was adopted by the District Council in 2023, I think it was, after exhaustive examination, went through examination. So it is an allocated site. Okay? So it's important just to know that.
Mm-hmm.
So just going through really just what's changed since November last year when it last came before us and we commented on it. So the applicant and District Council have been doing a lot more work because the applicant was asked to do a lot more work on various aspects, as well as update lots of information. So the principal updates are on the portal, and these are all entries really in May and June. So in the last 8 weeks, and I just, in no particular order, Southern Water, 21st of June, there will need to be an off-site foul sewer upgrade. They call it network reinforcement. In layman's terms, that means digging up the roads in Inverhorn Lane, almost certainly for a considerable length, to upgrade the foul sewer to make it bigger or put additional sewers in. That in itself, we don't know the details yet because Southern Water, they're working on the design, but they have confirmed it will need to be done. So when, if that happens, that's going to cause a similar work to what we had in Turner's Hill Road for the Hill Place Farm site, the water main, etc. Okay, so it's a significant technical matter regarding planning. West Sussex Minerals have said they've got no objection. Same with public rights of way. So formal statutory consultees, no objection, no objection. Environment Agency have commented, no objection. Stat consultee. Natural England, they've made a comment. basically, that they're not objecting, so that there's sort of com out on it. Mid Sussex facilities, Elaine Clark has commented on the sports facilities. The sports facilities have been fairly significantly upgraded. What has happened is, committee will probably be aware of Bob Shelley, who's the chair of our sports council. He has been in direct contact and made with Steve Ashdown, who's the case officer, to make representations on behalf of the sports council with detailed comments on the existing facilities so the old pavilion and the facilities. So quite a lot of their comments have been taken on board by the applicant to upgrade the facility, change the design, looking at car park numbers, looking at the all-weather pitch, looking at the athletics track, to make sure that the sports package complies with NGA guidance for sports bodies, so for football, for athletics, for lighting, etc. So a lot of that's been upgraded, so that they've taken on board those comments. There's significant upgrades on the portal. I urge members to look, in future days and future weeks. Are West Sussex Highways. Ian Gledhill, who's the strategic planning officer down at Chichester. There's a 10-page, very detailed chronology, really, of where they are with highways, commenting on existing transport reports, new transport surveys, new transport data, new transport ways of measuring data. Transport's a very complicated subject in itself, which is quite hard to get into because it's very detailed. But I urge members to look at that. It was dated the 18th of June. They haven't made a definitive comment whether they object or support the application yet. They're requesting further information from the applicant and from the case officer, not least the proposed roundabout at the top of near Bluebell Gate, which members will remember is the revised access point now. It was going to be opposite Heathcote Drive with a signal junction. That's not going to be the case. Bluebell Close. Bluebell Close, Mike. Sorry. Thank you. So that roundabout, they're waiting for further details. But they've made no sort of final comments in regard to the statutory consultation. But it's a very detailed document. There are further transport reports on the portal. Surrey County Council, that 5th of April, and this stems from our Town Council planning policy statement. Surrey County Council consistently done detailed consultations all through the examination for this site when it was prior to allocation. So they have done a fairly detailed phrase here again of transport issues. Effectively what they're saying is no objection. So they've kind of, in my interpretation today of going through that, they've changed their tune quite a lot, because historically they were the ones that insisted on the Grampian condition. Right, so I was very disappointed to kind of read that comment today. So again, I would urge members to look at that and pick that one up, not least with potentially our councillor Gibson, who's town councillor here for Imberhorn, who's not here tonight, but also is a West Sussex County Council. So that's kind of disappointing. Having said that, the transport corridor study, which Councillor Gibson has said on numerous occasions in this chamber, is ongoing. That work is ongoing between 4 local authorities: West Sussex County Council, Surrey County Council, Tonbridge District Council, and Mid Sussex District Council, to look at the whole A22-264 corridor and to do further traffic surveys, which are ongoing. Atkins, our consultants, are working on that. That work will continue for the rest of this year. They're not expected to report their initial stages until later this year, and we don't know what they're going to report. Hopefully, they're going to report that the 264-22 junction is over capacity, as we keep saying, and everybody knows, and that they're going to do something about it. But that's not yet been reported on the portal. Okay, so this planning application is kind of steaming ahead of that awaited corridor report. No, it's going to say. So that's pretty much where we are in terms of updates. A lot's happened in the last couple of months. My feelings remain the same. It's and also the SANG drawing which you showed up here. There's a SANG strategy now. That's effectively been signed off by Natural England. They said they're happy with the strategy and the drawings and the details, etc. So my personal position remains the same. As an Imberhorn councillor, I wish to see guarantee that the junction, particularly at the A22-264 star, will definitely be included in a physical upgrade to improve the junction. In the West Sussex Highways report from Mr. Gledhill, as part of this application, they are committing to upgrade the Imberhorn Lane A22 junction. A couple of lanes, left-hand lanes going northbound as you come out of Imberhorn Lane, and various other transport upgrades, as well as the new roundabout. But essentially, my personal position remains the same. But I'll be very interested to hear other committees' views, not least the town.
Thank you very much for that. Do we look for recommendations?
Yes, you are.
Would you be willing to make a recommendation on from what you said?
Yeah, and also, sorry, I meant to add, we still know details of the Section 106 agreement. I'm led to believe that heads of terms have been agreed between the applicant and Mid Sussex District Council. But there's one thing agreeing heads of terms, which are effectively the financial details of the infrastructure contributions. But the legal document is the devil's in the detail, and that can often take a very long time to negotiate and get agreed. So my position remains until I see evidence really of what's in the 106 in terms of financial contributions, and particularly the conditions of the 106-278, aka granting condition, included yes or no. I'm maintaining that this committee and town council retains the position that we cannot support this application until we have that reassurance of that granting condition. So to propose refusal, so to be consistent as we have been before.
Thank you very much. I'd be happy to second that. Does anyone have any further comment? Councillor Amy, please.
Councillor.
No.
If we go to Councillor Amy,
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Can I ask some clarification points, really, just on the because I wasn't able to view this until so can you just explain to me what these diagrams mean in terms of the differences of what they've come back with?
Right, that's a very good question. Where would you like to begin?
No. Okay, can you see what all that means?
So I had to piece them together a little bit, so they're a little bit muddled. Councillor Wilson looks like he might want to.
Well, just to state, sorry, I meant to say what I said on the portal. There is an addendum summary of changes kind of report dated the 22nd of May that's on the portal, but all sort of changes and variations. If you were to go through all of the same changes, we'd probably be here all night, with the greatest respect. I don't know exactly what's changed. Yeah. All I do know is that the strategy and the details have now been effectively approved by Natural England. But as for those changes, I couldn't tell you, sorry.
That's fine, no problem. Thank you, that's fine. And I apologise for not being prepared on that. My only comments on really are a couple of things, really, just to further reinforce what Councillor Lisk was saying in terms of the highways issue, which I think he said quite succinctly. The only thing that I would say is that really when we have got the 4 levels of government all talking about the A264 and A22, right, or in throes of it. And I can't honestly see how we can go ahead, or Mid Sussex can go ahead with approving this development, whilst that's still going on. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. That report and information that those 4 levels of government are going to put together for the A264 needs to come out and be done and finished, so that we can then, see what exactly Surrey County Council, West Sussex and Mid Sussex, those 3 levels of government, are going to propose for that junction. I can't see how we can actually really recommend anything in terms of development for the. So it's not 550, is it? Because it's 100 and there's 160. So in the care home or LP's. So I would agree with what Councillor Lee said wholeheartedly. I'd really like. I don't see how we can, as a committee, as a town, can realistically agree anything until those 3 levels of government have come back on the transport issues and the problem that we're going to have. My only other comment, Chair, if you'll allow me, is really Historic England put through a very comprehensive document. And I can't see that they've actually answered any of, or they've made any concessions to the information that Historic England put through in terms of listed buildings, views, rights of way, ancient pathways, that kind of thing. Now that could be included in some of that same stuff there. I don't know, but I would really like it put on record that I'm not happy with the response that the developer put through from the very considered, reasoned statements from Historic England.
Thank you very much. And if they have made concessions, so it'd be good for them to clarify. Might be a bit clearer.
I don't think.
Yeah. Councillor Peter.
Yeah, I think it's an important point. We need to understand from a conservation point of view, the officer, if this is being approved, why, when Historic England come through with a number of clear points they think need mitigating or considered. Question for Councillor Whittaker, sorry to put you on the spot. At the last committee meeting this was discussed, I think it was either the town mayor or Councillor Rees raised about the bridge needing to be widened or improved. Have we seen, I don't think that has, but I'm not in as far as you are, so do you know? Through future.
No, that's fine. As far as I'm aware, that comes under the additional details, the further details required for the roundabout. Because the roundabout, as you know, is very large, the post is very large. And I know that there were discussions, and we've made this committee through Councillor Reid has made requests for the issue is for footpath, because it's a very busy footpath going sort of down to the Worth Way and then through, and there's a hedge and there's a couple of feet and it's very busy. There's a wheel drive down.
Yeah.
So it's very dangerous. So we've made requests that in those details that provision is made for a proper footpath. In some shape or form, and safety measures for pedestrians at that bridge. Correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor, but I know that you led on that one. So we've yet to see those details. We have requested them, and that's what West Sussex Highways is saying. They need to see the new details of the ramp.
Thank you very
I hope
much.
that answers your question.
Is there any more points from the committee itself? Councillor Reid did put a hand up, so did you want to?
Declaration of interest, I live in Bluebell Close, so there's to the development. Big personal interest in it as well as committee interest. Completely agree with all the comments. I'm very grateful, actually. I think a lot of new detail has been made available. I think it is easier to see some of the points of clarification. I think that's hugely useful. I think it is important that we get those details on the infrastructure, the roundabouts, the bridge, which remains a real concern, and obviously that still is a problem. It's very difficult to see what their plans are. Obviously, the start junction is a real problem. That's Binglehorn Lane, the whole road need significant upgrade if we are going to have that amount of traffic. And if I'm really honest, the bit over the bridge has just not been considered as far as I can see. And we all know that not only is that not a hugely well maintained bit of road, it is blighted by potholes.
but at the end of the road in particular, it's a very difficult junction. So we're putting a significant number of in that way. I really encourage the various, like you say, all the various parties involved in looking at the road to try and think more holistically than perhaps just the turning into. I haven't looked at all the details of the stone. Much like yourself, I think there's some flaps and trees and things, but actually that does look very interesting. So I think should be recognised.
Thank you. So I think we've gone around the room now. So we do have a recommendation for Councillor Whitaker. Can I take a vote on that, please? And that was like approved. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Carries. Okay. Thank you very much for that. So next up, well, a number of more drawings to look at.
Is this a different subject?
Yes, yeah, that was the Inver development just then.
Can I just raise a point?
No.
I'm afraid we've gone, the public participation stage was at the beginning of the committee, so we've
Okay,
had
something to finish.
yeah, but feel free to discuss after if you want to hang on. Thank you. Okay, so next up we have the Sussex Police Authority, the police station at East Court. So we have the proposed change of use of existing redundant police station to create 33 residential apartments. We have some images here of various levels of that development. The demolition of the existing south and west blocks to new build, reuse of existing east block, including associated landscaping, parking, bin and cycle stores. And I think I've got the image of the cycle stores. I don't know. Yes, I've got it. So this is that's north, which is Councillor Godwin's ward. Did you want to make any comments at this stage, Councillor Godwin?
Chair, not really, but there has been some comments by the public which I have taken into account and looked at, but looking at also what was been provided by the applicants, I think that a lot of the concerns are met, and so I have no further comments to make on it.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Godwin. My main issue, if I may, with this application is with regards to the parking issue. I wasn't convinced from the presentation we had a few weeks back that the parking would be adequate for the number of dwellings, and also it would appear the number of dwellings has increased from what we initially would have expected to 33 residential apartments. And with regards to the area itself, East Court is somewhere that residents from across the town like to come. It's an amenity for all of us. Obviously, we have the fields and we have a number of groups that use the area, and so it's obviously quite a big deal to suddenly turn that area into 33 residential apartments. Other issues I would have is with the access, with the winding road that comes up towards here, and 15 mph speed limit. I feel like there would be congestion problems if we suddenly have a load of cars coming up and down there, more so than we do now. But I'd be interested to hear what the committee generally think about this application. Lovely. Councillor Peter.
I think the first thing to remember
Sorry,
is
Chair, are you going to make a recommendation?
Oh, I probably should do, shouldn't I? Yes. I personally wasn't looking to approve this from what I've seen at this stage. So if we're looking for a recommendation, I'll recommend refusal. If anyone wanted to second that. Councillor Reddy, thank you very much. And now we'll look for some comments. Councillor Peacock.
thank you, yeah. I mean, similar to the last application, which councillor Whittaker went through in great detail, this is obviously an allocated site in the DPD, which is something we have to grapple with. I, like you, have significant concerns as a town councillor, resident of the parking. I do have concerns over the access to the driveway. There is an increase in number of vehicles and movements. Certainly, just the maintenance of it. And I'd hope that the town council could maybe look at some kind of annual maintenance fee looking after the drive, because I think wear and tear will increase, and who knows if at some point we're going to have to widen the drive potentially in the future. We don't know that. It is a larger, taller building. As you said, in the DPD, it was 22 against 33. As we said, that's a direct consequence onto traffic and parking. The design, in terms of height, although it is thought higher, probably fit in with the Eastport estate, and they had shifted the proposed design in the DPD to the other way round. So the south wing is not the north wing, so they have moved it in terms of away from the cottages. But I still have concerns, and I'm minded to review this up. So I guess we'll see what other people think.
Do we have any more questions from committee? Councillor Whittaker.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, obviously we had a presentation at the last meeting, or the meeting before, which wasn't formally part of the meeting, but we were briefed by the architects on the likely proposal. Councillor Peacock is right. It is an allocated site in DPD. At the time, it was allocated for circa 20 units, but the district council district plan policy is to, in town centre locations, whilst this is not right in the town centre, it's within the built-up area boundary, albeit adjacent to the conservation area, which is a relevant point. The district council try and maximise the density on sites. This is classified as a small site, 33 units is probably, I would say, half of the course for this kind of site. The layout mirrors pretty much what is on the site already. Clearly, the building's been redundant 7 years. It's probably haven't done anything with it since they moved to Chequermead. So they've exhausted the marketing of it as a commercial premises. Obviously, what's on the site in its existing form is pretty tatty. So this building would, be an improvement in terms of elevations, etc., and what is there. I think the choice of materials is okay. I'd like to see a little bit more chintzy detailing, given its proximity to the conservation area in terms of architectural design, and from the urban designer personally. But overall, it's okay. My biggest issue with it is no social housing, or no social housing contribution, off-site contribution. On the portal is a viability report, commonly known as a developer toolkit, which I went through today. To me, that's pretty flimsy, and lots of developers use that as a get out of jail free clause for providing financial contributions. And I know that the district council valuer will go through that toolkit, which they're probably doing now, because we haven't had sight of the officer report on this site. But to me, there should be some kind of financial contribution to affordable housing. Given the fact that it's an allocated site, it's an existing building, they're refurbishing a third of the building, keeping the east wing, knocking down and rebuilding the south and the west wings. So, to my mind, there should be definitely some sort of financial contribution, and I'm not happy that there isn't at the moment. So I would support the refusal at the moment on particularly that issue, but you will need, if the refusal gets carried, you'll need good reasons, given its site location, very sound reasons through the town clerk for effectively, making that decision this evening. But on that basis alone, with the social housing, to me, that's reasonable.
Very good point. Thank you very much, Councillor Winter. Any further points from the committee on councillor Owen?
Sorry,
No, you-
councillor.
no.
Yeah, no, sorry, just to add to what councillor Whitty said, that's DP 31 is the district plan issue with affordable housing. Now, there was a reason that they said that they didn't have to do it. I can't remember what it was. But I still think, I agree with councillor Whitaker that there still needs to be some provision. I really do, particularly as it's so central within the town. Yeah, I would like to agree with councillor Peacock and yourself, Chair, with regards to the parking provision of that seems and the transport issues, which is DB 21. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Mott.
I too am very concerned about parking. We've got a narrow drive, we've got estate parking, which they're not going to be allowed to park in. And also we've got 2 developments in Blackwell Farm Road. Now, if they're thinking of parking there, that's going to be a no-no as well. So it is parking as well, really worries me.
Thank you. Councillor,
Sorry, thanks, I forgot. As a town council and our own Eastcourt Estate parking provision, how is that going to be monitored? How can we as a council then make sure that the estate is not impacted by that development's car parking?
that's a very good point.
And if there is, I would say it's not about now, it's about 10 years' time, as we all talk about, because they're 2-bedroom flats and things, there might just be a couple in there at the moment, but then their children, or they might move in with teenage children who learn to drive, and then there's going to be another car and more cars. So before you know it, you know, their allocation of 1 point whatever spaces per dwelling is not adequate enough for the reality of what it's going to be like. So, you know, and then that's going to have an impact on the estate, which is I'm very, very concerned about. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think I saw a hand from councillor Whitaker.
Yeah, just to confirm, there are 34 parking spaces on the application. It complies with 1-to-1, but as the town mayor said, we all know that that's not going to be adequate, especially with visitor parking, given its location in the conservation area, etc.
Absolutely.
So there's going to be, sorry, Chair, there's going to be a cost to the town for it and the council. Most definitely.
Right, well, I think it's probably okay, councillor Barnett, yeah, not on the committee, but we'll come to you.
Thank you very much. One thing, if we can get the town clerk to respond, given that the town council are directly involved in this as the owners of the surrounding land, do we need to put something in this to say that there is that sort of not conflict of interest, but
Yeah, I would always do that, so that we are
this
neighbouring
particular site?
property, but when the committee are meeting here tonight, they are meeting here tonight not as the landowners, but as the as the planning committee. Various comments have been raised this evening, which will be matters for the Amenities and Tourism Committee, and potentially finance and general purposes as time goes on. But those are not matters which will be discussed here this evening. So we've skirted around them, but we've not talked about them, so we're okay.
That was just a subsidiary thing, but just better make sure that we don't dig ourselves in a hole. But in getting a more development on the site, 33 rather than 20, whatever it was, and having only one car parking space essentially per dwelling, that's assuming if you like, a town centre type location where there is overflow parking nearby. There isn't. The overflow parking is Farm Road or car park at Checkmate, I suppose. So it's making an assumption, and when we had the developers here, asked the question about parking, and he was very unwilling to really sort of say that they're going to provide sufficient parking because he knew that they weren't. It all tied in with being a town centre location, and therefore there was flexibility. Flexibility is the best way. That needs to be fairly clear that that's land ownership issues, but not really. I mean, it's an assumption that it's a town centre location when it's no really different to something that's half a mile down a minor lane. People have got to go that half a mile down the lane to park. It's more of an equivalent than saying it's town centre. Sorry, parking.
Councillor Barnett, Councillor Lawson.
Chairman, yeah, sorry, thank you for coming back. Just on a particular point from councillor Barnett, we could insist that if there's any permission that's granted for the site, that the officers negotiate a very robust and strong planning condition for a parking management strategy specifically to be agreed with East Grinstead Town Council, given the shared nature of the estate and particularly the access road.
Potentially with funding, sorry, Councillor.
You know, and to be, you know, to be monitored robustly. So a very strong planning condition.
Yeah, so
We could request that.
if we could, yeah, I think that'd be appropriate. So, right, I think it's probably time we, so, I've, recommended that we refuse this, application, get this seconded. That's a big opposition.
Yeah, it was the town.
Oh, that's, yes. How much time? We talked about a long time.
You definitely did.
Okay. I think we'll choose that one over enough. So, yeah, so, in support of the recommendation. Yes, okay, so if we can take a vote on supporting that recommendation, please. Thank you very much, committee. Thank you, town clerk. And that should bring us to the end of our agenda this evening. So I close this meeting at 19:49. No, 6. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't do it.